we're starting again with our spooky season. We're here. We did it. I'm like internally screaming.
I don't know if you remember, but our first spooky season, we did 3 books. It was like
our first one, yeah.
Our first one, because we only did October, and that was when we used to post once a week.
Mm-hmm.
So we had done like Silent Patient and Pen Pal, and then another one that I did not like, so I just don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
We did those. That was okay. You know, that was our start. Nice. And then our second one.
Our second spooky season.
We were filming twice a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
We read so many horror books.
Did we start in September?
Yeah.
We did?
No. We started... No, yeah, we did. We did start in September. We started with thriller. We tried doing that.
Okay.
But they all just ended up being horror. And I had never felt so much dread in my life.
I feel it now.
I lived alone then. Do you remember that?
I do remember that you lived alone.
Oh. So here we are again. Happy September.
Please send us whatever recommendations.
Please send us wishes, please.
Well wishes. Okay, so I do want to start this off by saying I brought something up in our last episode that I want to continue. So for me, I don't know if you're the same way. You're not, actually. I just thought about it. I feel like for me, when I'm reading, it's really difficult to really scare me. I'll get a little uneasy, a little bit creeped out, because I do remember there's certain scenes that I was kind of like, ugh, in our last batch and in our first batch. I can remember certain parts where I did feel uneasy. So to me, I feel like it's hard to scare me when I'm reading, because I don't know, I could just turn it off. But I think my subconscious is scared. Dude, oh my God. I can't tell you exactly. I think I had finished reading this book.
Okay.
And I used to get sleep paralysis a lot when I was younger. A lot. Because I think it's tied in with my sleeping schedule, because if my sleeping schedule gets too derailed, then that's when I'm more likely to experience that.
Yeah.
So the other day, my fiance and I, we watched The Babadook, which I hadn't seen in a very long time. Oh, and it's so funny because I don't think it's that scary.
Yeah, me neither.
But it's not that scary, but it does have scenes where I was like, ooh, that's kind of uneasy, right? So that night, I had a really weird dream, but I'm going to try to describe it as best as I can.
Okay.
So in my dream, I felt... or I saw myself if I was laying down with my phone in my hand, right? And I was asleep. So I was dreaming that of me with, I think, my little brother, but he looked little in my dream. And I was talking to him. We were having a conversation. I have no idea what we were talking about. And then I grab his hand and I start walking. And all of a sudden, the image stills. And it kind of blurs in a way where it's movement, but we're not moving. And I remember that I opened my eyes and I saw the room that I was sleeping in. And all of a sudden my phone lit up and I heard a really scary voice say, it was so fucking scary. It said something along the lines of, "You're not even awake right now." And it was the darkest, haunting voice I've ever heard. And I couldn't move. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, I need to fucking move right now. Because I've had sleep paralysis where I'll, obviously hear things. But I always try to avoid seeing anything. So, I'll do my best to, look away, you know? And so in my sleep paralysis state, I was touching my fiance, trying to grip on his arm to get him to wake me up. Yeah. And in my dream, he was patting me. And then I woke up and obviously no phone in my hand and he wasn't touching me. And I was like, what the fuck? Oh, I forgot to say, this was the part that really affected me, was when I heard that voice. Have you ever had that feeling of how do I describe it? It's something leaving you. I swear it's my soul just slipped right out of me. Yeah. It's fear. I was engulfed in fear. Oh my God, dude. It was so fucking scary.
I can't. I can't even handle that story right now.
I'm sorry.
I had a nightmare last night.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't remember the beats of it, but I do remember that the whole point of it. I've been watching The Bear recently. I don't know if
I've never seen it.
Dude, it's so good.
Really?
But I've been watching it recently, and it's a very high stress, most of the show. But it was very similar in the way that I was trying to open up a shop, but I needed the licenses to open up the shop to like make sure it was safe enough for people to go in there. And it was just me like acquiring these licenses, and everything I touched would like decay. Like it would like die in my hands.
Oh no.
And so then people would try to comfort me, and they would go up to me like, hey, like, but I knew that if they touched me, they would die.
They would decay. Oh my God.
So it was just me like not accepting anything. So I had to become really cold towards people.
Oh.
And it was such a, like, it felt like a lifetime of just pushing people away. And it was a lot.
That sounds really scary.
Yeah.
And a lot of stress. Can you imagine?
Stressed out.
Me
Yeah.
that loves hugs.
I know.
I'm like trying to hug you. You're like, don't touch me.
Me who hates hugs. It's like a fucking dream. I don't hate hugs. I just.
You don't love hugs.
No, I don't. I don't hate them. I just. I feel
Don't touch me.
No. I don't know how to describe it. But in my dream, that was what was happening. Things that I touched would. It wasn't even like just disappear. I would see it go through like its lifespan.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so scary.
So like if I touched a paper, I would see it go like turn yellow, turn brittle, and then
dust.
yeah.
That is really scary.
That was weird.
So as you can see, our minds are great.
It's always like this during horror season for me. So I'm going to struggle a lot. I feel like a lot of the things I do now, because I wake up early and I go to sleep pretty late. So it's usually me on my own.
Yeah.
And I listened to the audiobook for this one.
Oh, you did? On what?
Dude, Spotify?
Oh, I used
Hell yeah.
a different one for Spotify.
Okay, so I do want to say it wasn't scary sounding. It's not like they added too many voices, but the book we're going to talk about has a section that I think the audiobook did really well. But with all that being said, do you think a book about things maybe not existing is going to save your life?
Save? I think it'll fix my life.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. Thank you. Welcome to the Book Fix Podcast, a podcast where we fix lives one book at a time. I'm your host, Cheli.
And I'm your host, Yajaira. And we're a podcast where if you've read the book, please sound off down below. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what you thought about the plot twists, the ending, the characters. But if you haven't read the book, it's okay because we're here to tell you all about it. Well, we're probably going to say a lot of this book, I think.
Yeah.
So this is called We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kliewer. Kliewer, hello?
Kliewer.
Kliewer. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong.
Totally right.
So I think this is a debut novel.
Oh, is it?
So this book
Pretty
was
strong.
actually a short story on a no sleep forum on Reddit. And it did really well.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good premise for a book then. I really like the way this book starts because, my God, that's one of my biggest fears of living in a place and someone just randomly coming and being like, hey, I used to live here. Can I walk around?
Dude,
Shit.
fucking roll the fucking credits. No, bye.
No.
Slam the fucking door shut. Bye.
I like how even our main character, she's I think she calls herself a people pleaser at one point.
Yeah, she does.
But she also has a lot of anxiety. I would have just said no. You don't owe them anything.
I would have just said, oh, you know what? I'm just about to leave, actually. So sorry. Bye. Bye. See you later.
No, but the blizzard is coming. Oh, that sucks.
That's
you
really
probably
sad.
should have thought about it.
You probably should go home then, right?
Yeah.
There's a blizzard coming. So our main character is named Eve Palmer. And yeah, so these strangers show up at our house. The main person
These characters show up at Eve's house that she just bought with her girlfriend Charlie. And these characters, the man out of all these characters being named Thomas,
the dad,
that he used to live here when he was a child. So he really wanted to show his wife Paige and his 3 children, Newton, Kai, and Jenny, where he used to live.
Yeah.
Our main character Eve really wanted to say no, but didn't know how to.
So she tried to use a tactic that she normally uses, which is using her girlfriend Charlie, because Charlie is really good at being blunt. So Charlie would say no if she were there, but I think she was working. And so she's like, let me just ask my girlfriend. But I think she let the family in because it was pouring outside.
She wasn't going to, but then the family was like, it's really cold outside. Can we just stand in the foyer and just, we won't be a bother. She's like, okay, fine. But
she should have been like, actually, no, never mind. Well, Charlie said no.
She did say that
without even calling.
I know. She's like not even holding it open. She's holding it backwards. She did say no, but then Jenny, the little girl, looked really sad. And she was like, okay, as long as it's just 15 minutes. Dude.
No, but she did pretend to call, though.
Yeah.
She pretended to call. She said Charlie said no, but then the little girl, Jenny, was sad and depressed. And so she was like, okay, 15 minutes? He said 15 minutes tops.
So I hate when people overstay their welcome.
Oh my God. Shit. Dude, and did they fucking overstay their welcome. They really did.
Hours worth of, you see
days. I'm just kidding.
See that tile? That was my favorite tile growing up.
He's like, I really need to show every corner of this house to my family.
And I hated when it would be like, oh, this used to be here. You probably wouldn't know that. And it's like, of course I wouldn't fucking know that. I didn't live here.
I remember the one thing that he was really big on was the chandelier in the dining room.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the chandelier? Oh my God, there was a really nice chandelier here. And he was like, or Eve was just like, oh, well, we got rid of it. But she didn't say that. She was just thinking that.
So he's over here going through the entire house, and Eve is kind of following along because she wants to kind of learn a little bit more about the house.
Because Charlie and her just buy houses, flip them, sell them, and then move on.
So they are in the basement. They weren't going to go, but Jenny, the little girl who really wanted to see the basement, snuck in and hid. And then the family not freaking out at all. Jenny does this. She hides.
It's just a thing that Jenny does. She loves to hide in houses because they visit many houses.
So this is where things get a little weird because Thomas does have a moment with Eve where he says, have you ever noticed that this house is a little, and then it stops there and they never.
No, he says, have you noticed anything weird?
Yeah.
And she's just like, what do you mean? And then he doesn't go on because I think they get disrupted by something.
Yes. But even when they're down in the basement, they're both looking in separate parts of the basement. This basement's described as like huge.
Yeah.
So she crashes into him, but he's facing the other way. And even when she calls him, his hands are limp to his side. And he's just looking straight ahead. And it isn't until she puts her hand on his shoulder, he says Jesus. And
like she scared him.
Yeah. So they can't find the daughter, and Thomas is like, we're just going to have to wait it out. Maybe like another 20 minutes.
But the dad, Thomas, is so fucking nonchalant about it because he's just like, oh, well, I guess we should have dinner or something. I mean, she's going to. Oh, because he showed Eve a little corner. He's like, I used to love hiding there. I bet you she's in there. But, I don't want to drag her kicking and screaming. So.
And they don't have dinner until Charlie comes home and Charlie invites them to dinner. But this family does just make themselves at home. I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah, me too.
So much.
Me too. It gave me the ick.
Oh my God.
If I were Charlie, because, she has a backbone, I would have been like, get the fuck out of my house.
Oh, you lost your daughter? You don't have a daughter.
You don't have a daughter anymore, actually. You know what? Home. When I find her, I'll mail her to you. Bye.
But I just think of myself as a child. If I had done that shit to my parents, oh.
No, I would never do that to my parents.
I know, that's crazy.
So while they're preparing dinner, I think Thomas even tells Charlie and Eve, well, when she smells the dinner, she'll come out. And she does eventually come out.
Yeah, but she doesn't come out until way, 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 way later. You're right, because of the dinner. And I hate that she just goes like, I'm sorry. And it's like,
You're sorry?
You're sorry?
No dinner for you, Jenny.
Oh, dude. But then when they're about to leave.
Well, they're eating.
Oh, yeah.
And then Paige.
Oh, my God.
Paige is so, she's so condescending. I can't say that word. Because she mentions the Bible that she saw in the library or whatever. And she's like, oh, you're religious? Because she has a cross necklace.
Yeah.
And Eve tells her, oh, well, I grew up Catholic and my family is still religious. And then she's just like, oh, well, do they know?
About your lifestyle choices?
Do they know?
And I fucking love that Charlie's like, does your family know about your lifestyle choices, Paige? Do you share it with them?
Mm-hmm.
But Thomas is very stern. I thought it was really funny, too, that they, Charlie and Eve brought a lot of wine and alcohol out. Mm-hmm. And Paige is like, we don't drink.
We don't drink around here.
In this household.
In this house. This is not your house, Paige.
Thomas is like about to open a beer. Oh, no, yeah. No, we don't drink.
He's already on his third beer.
So they stay the night.
No, they weren't supposed to stay the night. They left.
They leave, yeah.
But then I think Eve gets a notification, like an alert, a weather alert that says due to the storm, they closed a bridge. And so they already know that they're coming back.
What would you have done in this situation? You had let them do the house tour. They overstayed their welcome. They
lock the door, turn off all the lights, pretend like I'm not even home anymore. Not my problem.
No, I would do the opposite. I would turn on all the lights, open the blinds. They can see me. I'm drinking a hot cocoa. Oh,
are you cold? Paige, how do you like your lifestyle choices now?
I think if it were me, if I wanted to not feel bad, if I wouldn't want to let them in, because I wouldn't let them in again, I think I would have just been like, I'm so sorry. Like, I understand, but here's like $20. I think that's enough for a motel. Am I right? Go find yourself a motel.
Definitely not. I feel like I wouldn't want to see them though, because I know that if I looked at Jenny, I would feel bad.
Yeah.
I would feel really bad.
But then you look at Kai and you're like, I don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad anymore. They're all, the kids are young, but yeah, the two boys are kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. Jenny is too, but
she lets them all back in, and they're all sleeping in like an office room, and they're using the cushions as beds. Mm-hmm. And our main Charlie and Eve, they're sitting in the living room, and they're like, God damn. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a wild situation, isn't it? And there's a little moment where Charlie, who has never been known to be the emotional type, shows Eve that she got a locket. Mm-hmm. And inside the locket, there's a picture of Eve. And they kind of make a joke like, that's the only picture of Eve Palmer that exists.
Yeah, because Eve has never liked photographs. She's very camera shy, which is funny because Charlie used to love taking pictures.
Yes. So they have that little moment, but then they end up going to their room to go to sleep. Eve wakes up because she hears noise, and she goes to the basement because she does like...
No. First... They don't go to sleep yet. Don't you remember that they see Thomas outside in the snow?
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
And then he's like screaming and he's like calling for Allison. Yeah. Me, I literally paused and I was like, who the fuck is Allison? Are you cheating?
Paige, come over here.
Oh, my good girl Paige over here. Who I definitely don't hate.
No, but they had brought up that Allison was the...
No, I know, but I'm just saying like at this point. So they go outside. They bring Thomas back in. He's calm now. And he explains a story that Allison is his sister and she kind of just lost her mind. Yes. But he says that Allison showed up one day at his house and his family just kind of took her in.
Yes. And he also described that she lost her mind because Allison was under the impression that the house was changing
every single day.
And it was also changing aspects of them. So there was a point where Allison didn't even believe that her family was her family.
Mm-hmm. So she would start asking them questions that only her family would know. Mm-hmm. And then her family's... This is the part that I don't even understand. But then her family started calling her Alina?
Yes. You don't do that?
That's... Well, the thing is that was her name now. Yes. That was what was believed to be her name, but we refer to her as Allison. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Yes. So, yeah, he's explaining to them that she lost her mind and that she hurt him, but she didn't explain how she hurt him.
Yes.
Or that she did something really bad.
Mm-hmm. So he's like over here drinking beers.
Oh, yeah. He's drinking beers now. He's like, my wife's not here. She's sleeping.
He finishes an entire pack by himself and he's like, ooh, dinner. And,
dinner.
And then he says, like, thank you for everything, like, for taking us in. I'm going to go to bed.
And he's like, don't worry, I won't overstay my welcome. I'm going to leave early.
But I am
bright
going
in
to
the
take
morning.
this other pack of cold ones. I'm just going to take it. Okay, thank you. No, I'm not going to take it to the room. I'll finish it on the way there.
It's so funny because wouldn't Paige smell it on you?
No, he
I feel like I would fucking
well.
smell that shit from a mile away.
So now Eve and Charlie go into their room. And when they're going to sleep, Eve wakes up because she hears noises
coming from the basement and she thinks it's Jenny.
And the only reason she thinks it's Jenny because she does the knock that she saw Thomas do, that dun, 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 and then she hears that dun, dun,
yeah.
back. Mm-hmm. And so she opens the door and she sees someone standing at the end of the steps and they're just looking straight at her. Mm-hmm. And the reason she could tell is because she could see the light of the moon shine in that person's eyes. Mm-hmm. But then this whole time they're having this stare down.
No blinking.
Mm-hmm.
So she thought it was Jenny, right?
Yeah. I would have just been like...
But then the bitch stood up.
Even if it was Jenny, if 15 seconds had passed and my bitch was not blinking, I'm closing, locking that door, moving out. I don't fucking care what anyone says. I would have been like, Charlie, get the fuck up. Quit your job. We're done. I don't even care if this family owns the home now. Hell no.
You can fucking keep it. I don't care.
Hell no.
Well, she thought it was Jenny.
Yeah.
Until it stood up, right? Because then it got taller.
It stood up and it was like abnormally tall.
Mm-hmm. And then she...
Wait a minute.
Hold on. You don't even pay rent, bitch. And so then she runs back to the room. She's trying to wake up Charlie, but Charlie's not getting up. She's like, I don't care what's in the basement. They can wait until the morning.
So then the next day when Eve wakes up, Charlie's gone. Mm-hmm. And so is Eve's phone. So she walks downstairs. And I love this version of Eve. Dude, she does not give a fuck.
I thought you were going to say, I love that she could smell the fucking scent of waffles and pancakes.
I know. She smells her favorite breakfast, goes down and sees that the whole family is having a fucking family moment. At the fucking page is like, this is what family is, guys. This is Faust's family. Eve, take a picture of us.
Us in our new home.
I know. And then Eve is just kind of like, what the fuck
like,
are you
why
guys
are you
still
here
doing? Yeah. And Thomas is like, oh, I'm sorry. It's just, we were gonna go, but you can't leave without some bacon and eggs in your tum-tum.
He's like, Charlie told me I can help myself, and so I did. And
it's like, Charlie would never say that. Charlie said that?
And then she asked, where is Charlie? Oh, she went to the store. And she doesn't believe him, right? Mm-hmm. So she's thinking, oh, he's fucking lying. I need to find my phone. Can't find her phone. So she decides, I'm just going to go to the neighbor. But then as she's leaving, he tells her, by the way, she said she checked the basement out and didn't find anything.
So they did talk.
Right? Mm-hmm. Allegedly. No, they did talk. But she's still kind of like, So she does end up going to the neighbors. But before, she's like, make sure you bitches leave.
And I do want to bring up, too, she was going to ask them to borrow a phone.
Oh, yeah.
But because they're religious, they went on like a phone fast. Mm-hmm. So they gave their pastor
their phones,
which is crazy. That pastor's fucking playing Roblox on every single screen. So yeah, so they have no phones.
Mm-hmm. So she makes a fucking mile hike to the neighbor's house.
And I do want to bring up, around this time is when things start being a little different, because she starts noticing, like, I think she passes by a motel at this point, and she passes by this motel 3 times, and each single time she passes by, different letters are missing.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of
so like, things are a little bit off. Mm-hmm.
She goes to this neighbor's house whose name is Heather, and she's like, Heather, bestie, I need to borrow a phone.
And Heather's like, oh my God, you live in that one house, right? Crazy.
7509, whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so she goes into Heather's house, and while she's walking down the hall to get to the phone, she notices one of the lights turn off. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Heather, you live with someone, right? And it's like, no, I live alone. No, it's just my lights, they're automatic.
They're motion sensor.
You know?
Move, bitch.
It's like, you're telling me your lights are motion sensor and you still have a landline? Okay. So,
oh my God.
So then she goes and calls Charlie. Charlie could barely hear her.
But wasn't this interaction weird? Mm-hmm. It was like Charlie was very like off with her, to me, in my opinion. I have no idea what the audiobook sounded like.
I think Charlie was just upset.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you being...
Like, why are you calling
me?
Like, because she didn't recognize the phone number, obviously. So she was like, Eve?
It's like, yeah, I went to the neighbor's house. And I think she got a piece together, like, she's freaking out. Uh-huh. So she was just like, what are you doing there? Mm-hmm. I'll be right back. I'm just doing this. And then it starts to cut off. And she's just like, Eve, just wait for me. I'll be right there. Mm-hmm. And so then she goes to leave. But Heather's like, here, how about Earl Grey? Let's just talk for a bit. I could tell you about Thomas because I actually used to babysit him. Mm-hmm. And from her, she learns that Allison...
Well, she called her Alina.
Alina.
Because she was like, oh yeah, Alina? It's like, you mean Allison? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Alina, but okay.
Yeah, but she goes, Alina. Oh, by the way, that Heather person, she mentions... Heather person. Her name's Heather. She mentions Alina, but then she says, oh, but my memory's not great, so it might have been Allison.
Yeah.
In order for us to like kind of be distracted.
Yeah.
But did you notice at the beginning of the book they did that too? When Jenny meets Eve for the first time, she's like, oh, Emma. And then Thomas is the one that's like, that's not Emma, that's Eve.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
But that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So she brings up that Alina, who had been going crazy. Mm-hmm.
And then she brings up that Alina stabbed Thomas while he was asleep 34 times, I think.
37.
Around there, yeah. Mm-hmm. And damn.
Yeah. And Thomas had never been the same after that. He had always been a very energetic kid. Mm-hmm. But just, it changed after that.
Well, I mean, I get it.
Yeah. And so then Eve. Hello? Who am I? Eve gets these moments where she thinks about this chimp called Mo.
Oh, yeah.
It's like those little chimps with like the tambourines. I hate those shits.
I hate those shits too. But she describes it in a way that I've never seen him before. Mm-hmm. Where it's like in overalls, like white overalls or light blue. And the fur is white and he's wearing a straw hat.
Yeah. So she describes Mo.
Mo is kind of like her subconscious.
Yes. And Mo is basically telling her, like, you got to go now. You got to go. And Mo kind of, like you said, it's her subconscious. It's very much her anxieties getting the best of her. But then it becomes weird because while she's sitting in this living room and Heather went to go get more Earl Grey, she's looking at a pile of toys that's in Heather's house and Mo's sitting right there. Mm-hmm. And Mo's a very rare toy.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh shit, I gotta jet. Mm-hmm. So she gets all her stuff, and while she's walking towards the door and Heather's like, yo, you're gonna go right now? Are you sure? The phone rings. Mm-hmm. And Heather goes, oh,
that's probably your girl or your partner, because I'm not
your girly.
I'm not no one's gonna call me right now.
I thought you were gonna be like, because I'm not gay. That's against the rules.
No, she was literally like, well, no one calls me, so
mm-hmm. But at that point, Eve kind of feels Mo saying, like, if you answer that, you're never going to leave.
That part, I was like, oh my God, get the fuck out of there.
Do you think it was Charlie? Or do you think it was a trap?
I think it was a trap. I honestly think it was.
I feel like it was Charlie. I feel like Heather did no wrong. Heather's my girl.
I don't trust Heather, though. Die. No.
I trusted Heather.
Not at the end.
Why not?
I don't trust Heather.
It's not her fault she has a landline.
You ever listen to Conan Gray's Heather song? Ever since then, I trust no Heather.
Just kidding. I wish I was Heather.
Oh my God.
Okay,
I don't know. I think you're probably right. I mean, that phone call was probably Charlie, because at this point, I think it was just the beginning, so I don't think things were too off yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So then what happens? She travels back home. What happens?
She goes back home because, it might not be as bad as she thought it was, It's been 2 hours, I think, since she left. Mm-hmm. And them bitches still there. They're hanging up Christmas lights. It's fucking June. No, it is December.
Kevin.
Oh, she walks by a cabin first, right?
Yeah.
Is there an old man in there?
Yeah.
Good for him.
It's good for him.
At this point of the book,
okay, I might be confusing the stories. Wasn't there like a whole rumor that the information of the house was lost or something? Like the
because
history?
of the fires.
The
that
history of
happened.
the house, right?
And it was Heather who was like, no, it wasn't fires. People stole that shit.
And when she got to this cabin, wasn't there just like a bunch of papers everywhere?
I think so.
I could have sworn it was like, oh, this is where the fucking information went.
And can I also say, every other chapter, there were random like excerpts from news articles, texts, interviews, YouTube videos, like things brought up
that would pertain to the story.
But at the end of it, there was a little Morse code at the end. By this point of the story, if you had been doing the Morse code, what it had spelled out was the old man in the cabin. And then the cabin came up. And I was like, hell no. If a viejito comes out of there on sight, that man's gone. Like a fucking full roundhouse kick on that man.
But he had a scar, right?
Yeah.
Like the
old man with the scar in the cabin.
No. But I'm just saying, like, when she saw him, it was a scar. And she described it as like a familiar scar.
Yeah. Oh.
And then the old man basically told her the people in your house don't actually look like that.
And she's like, okay, that makes me feel safe, very heard.
She's like, okay, chill.
Okay, so she goes home.
What did you think that meant?
I thought they were like, I don't know if I thought it was a ghost story, but I know that I didn't trust them at all. And I felt like the worst one out of all of them was going to be Jenny. I was just waiting for that shit.
It's so funny. I honestly thought they were shapeshifters. I was like, these bitches are going to take their face off and it's going to be Eve looking right back at her.
Oh, my hell no.
That's what I thought it was.
My scared level at this point out of 5 was 2.
2?
I was getting scared, but I wasn't too scared. So she gets back to the house. These bitches made themselves at home.
My scared level was also a 2. My confused level was at a 5.5.
Yeah, dude, that shit was over. So like I said, Thomas is over here getting ready for the Christmas carols. They're fucking...
Still summer.
It's weird because like they also hung up balloons on top of the house and it just says the Fausts live here. And it's just
his name is Thomas Faust.
So she gets there and as soon as Thomas sees her, he's like, oh, Eve. And she's just like, why the fuck are you still here?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you got eggs and bacon in your stomach, don't you?
Get the fuck out
of here. And he was like, oh, well, we didn't want to leave the door unlocked. And she,
Which is so funny because she had fucking forgotten her keys. So, I mean, in one part, yes, thank you for staying. Another part, get the fuck out of my house.
And he could have just left a note. You know?
Left the key into the mouth.
I know. I couldn't stand him.
Oh, me
I
neither.
could not stand him.
But the thing about Thomas is that he came off so he's such a nice guy. Like he's such a nice guy.
And out of his entire religious family and fucking bullshit kids, he was the more like I could stand him, you know?
But he was still irritating, don't get me wrong. I was still mad. But then he told her we can't leave because of the storm, the snowstorm. And I don't have chains on my tires. That's very dangerous. I have like, 3 fucking kids.
That's funny, Thomas, because you said you didn't need chains last night because you said you knew how to drive here. Just weird how you're just changing it up on me.
So what the fuck? What is it?
Also, you have a truck and most trucks are 4x4s. I don't know. You know? So
I don't know anything about the snow. So I'm just a Cali girl. And
why don't you just eat the snow while you drive, huh? You have kids.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And so she remembers where the chain is for the tire. She's like, I'll be right fucking back, okay? So she goes up to the attic. It's one of those where she pulls the fucking ladder down.
Yes, but I also really like this part because she starts walking up and Thomas is like, I'm right behind you, Eve. And she turns around, don't fucking follow me. And Paige is like, oh, queen.
So funny. She was so over it.
Yeah, so she goes up there, finds the chains, but she hears a noise.
She finds a box, though, of Charlie's things.
Yes. Why was that up there?
That's a little weird.
Because it was Charlie's old photography stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she finds that box and then she hears a noise. She assumes it's Jenny, but it's a lady in a hospital gown. Mm-hmm. And in her mind, she's like, this is Allison, Alina Allison. Mm-hmm. And the way it describes that this thing moves is it will take 1 step and halt, 3 really fast steps, halt, 2 slow steps, halt. And me, I'm like, hell no, I'm 10 steps out. Like I'm 2 steps chains already around me. 10 steps out, I've moved out. I've taken the truck.
But she ends up falling.
And she screams.
She screams and she falls. And yeah.
Yeah. So when she wakes up, Thomas is saying like, wow, you took a nasty hit, you know?
I think she's on the couch at this point, right?
Yes, everyone's around her. And she's just saying like, there's someone up there. And Thomas is totally dismissing it. It's probably a squatter, but I can check. And when Charlie comes home, Thomas talks to her first and is like, oh yeah.
Oh,
go ahead.
First, remember how Eve didn't have her phone? Well, she notices one of the fucking two boys with a phone, and she has a wallpaper that's her, Charlie, and Shiloh, their dog, and she sees the wallpaper on her phone, so she's just like, "That's my fucking phone! Give me that back!" And so she's like trying to fight this kid for the phone, and then Shiloh fucking munches on that child
and isn't letting go.
Yeah, Shiloh bites his leg, I think.
Yes, the family comes, sees the boy, and the boy's like, I'm sorry, Mom and Dad and Jesus. I just, we did that fast and I really wanted to talk to my friend, so I just kept my phone. And she looks down and it's not her phone anymore. And she's like, oh my, I could have fucking sworn
I saw my wallpaper.
So then when Charlie does eventually come home, I think she's in a room where she sees Charlie's car coming in, but the window she's looking out of was their old stained glass window. That is now a normal window. She's like, I'm fucking going crazy.
But as Charlie's coming in, that's when the family's leaving because they're pissed about the dog biting the child. And I thought it was funny, though, because don't you remember that Eve and Paige kind of had like a little bit of a moment? Because Paige told her, oh, I haven't always been religious. Yeah. It was actually Thomas who showed me the light because she was homeless and went to a soup kitchen. And I think he was there.
Yes, he was volunteering.
And it seemed like she wanted to tell her more, but then that whole thing happened and now Paige is pissed. You
think there could have been any difference if they had become friends?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious to see what direction this would have gone in. But yeah, so as they're walking out, that's when Charlie's coming in, and then Thomas is talking to Charlie, and Eve just knows that he's bad-mouthing her.
Yeah. And it's funny because you kind of hear the end of that conversation, and Thomas is like, oh, but she fell, so keep an eye on her, And they leave, and Eve is like, what did that bitch Thomas say? Let me at that fucking little bitch car. And it's like, he told me that you fell, that you saw someone, and are you okay? And she was like, I need us to leave.
Yeah,
we're not gonna go back in there. We're gonna go.
She doesn't even want. I think they're outside because she's like, I'm not going back in there. No fucking way. And so they get in Charlie's truck, but Charlie tells her, well, I need to go grab some stuff. I need to grab my charger and clothes. And Eve doesn't want her to, but eventually just
It's like, okay, but you have to be in there for less than 3 seconds. And the whole time she can see Charlie through the window grabbing her stuff. But when she comes back out, they're both like, okay, let's go. They go to a motel. We're upcharged for being a lesbian couple.
Oh my God, the fucking hate crime.
The homophobia of this all. Yeah.
Which is the worst part of this book.
And they're staying in a motel and they're both kind of just sitting there. And Eve has a moment where she's like, I remember Thomas's story when they said Allison didn't believe the people that were with her were the people she knew.
Yeah, because she started kind of doubting Charlie.
So then
I don't remember what it was that about her, but I think she was just doubting.
So she quizzes Charlie about the first time they met, and it made sense. But then that night, I think through Charlie's phone, she gets a phone call from Eve's phone. And when she answers, it's Charlie.
She was assuming it was going to be like Thomas or something.
Yes.
But when she answers the phone, it's Charlie's voice.
And Charlie's like, I never left the house. I'm here with Shiloh. Shiloh, bark. I know. And we never left. It's not safe here. You need to get out of here.
It's not letting us leave.
I would have been. I'm already gone.
But she told her, don't come here. And what does she do? She fucking goes there.
What would you have done, though?
Call the cops.
I know.
Grab a priest. I'm not going in there alone. Fuck that.
But even like the cops, because she, on her way there, she totally leaves that Charlie like steals the car and leaves that Charlie.
Shiloh was there too, right?
The other Shiloh. Yeah.
Yeah. Other Shiloh. Well, allegedly.
So
then she goes to a gas station
and sees a cop, and this cop checks her and is like, Eve Palmer, have you slept? Like, you know, you look fucking busted. But didn't this cop feel kind of strange too? Everything about this, I thought he was gonna like
arrest her, but
that might have been better.
Honestly, yeah, she would have been still. Actually, I have no idea. We can talk about that later.
Yeah. So she goes to the house, goes in, looks for Charlie, but then she hears counting, and she realizes like, oh shit, I'm in a big game of hide and seek, and I don't like to lose.
But don't you remember when she walked in, she sees the fucking dining table set up? There's like 6 plates.
Hell no.
She's like, all right, chill. I
would have walked in, looked at that, and been like, no, I'm good.
Not my house.
No.
There's only, 3 of us.
Do you remember there was a scene, I think it was at this point when, no. When she was looking for the tire chains and she was looking out the window, there was a etched in or carved in the wood. It said, remember which house you're in. You remember that?
Oh, I do remember. Because I remember a lot of the etchings. Yeah. Because there was like a bunch of words, right? And I was like, what the fuck is this trying to tell me?
So I want to guess at this point she was still in her house.
Okay.
So
that's your guess?
That's my guess.
Okay.
So she sees Charlie, and Charlie's just kind of in a very calm standing position. And a bunch of ants just start crawling inside of her, but she's not reacting until I think Eve shakes her out of it.
Yeah.
And Charlie's like, you should have left. You shouldn't have came back. And I don't know if they try escaping, but they have to play the hide and seek game. Eve gets caught, and then she's taken back, right? To like this past state. And she wakes up, and Thomas comes and greets her and is like, Emma, what are you doing? And she's like, who the fuck is Emma? What the fuck are you doing here, Thomas?
But I forgot why she knew she had to play along. I don't remember why.
Because she was told by, I think it was, I don't remember if it was the old man, but she was told that the only way to get out of whatever Thomas is doing is to beat Thomas when he's weak. So just to make sure to play along.
Oh, I remember. There was an instance before this where she found the portrait because Thomas's mom was a painter and she found a family portrait, but she noticed that Thomas's picture looked like it was added on after, like an afterthought, you know, because it just the paintings that were used was just like later on, right? And she even found a diary entry that belonged to Allison, and Allison said, "This is not my family." And she revealed that it was actually Thomas who showed up one day on their doorstep. And then ever since that happened, like things just started changing.
So was Allison saying that because the people that were her family weren't them anymore?
I assumed that it was actually like a personality switch. Like that's what I assumed.
Okay. Because they do change completely.
Yeah, because I think she had said that they weren't religious before Thomas showed up.
Okay. And then they found God.
And so I think in her diary entry, she said you have to play along. I think that's what had happened.
I thought it was really interesting too, because by this point, we also know that Thomas has this thing where when it felt like the devil was going to crawl inside you, you have to call out to Jesus. And there was a point at the beginning that we talked about when he's in the basement and they're looking for Jenny, where he's standing and Eve comes up behind her and he calls out to Jesus. So it has always just kind of been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, but Eve's taken back in time, and this house looks like a 1950s home. And Thomas comes in and is like, Emma, my sweet sister.
Are you sure you want to leave this house and find your own house?
Yeah, after your breakup with Charlotte, which is Charlie.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But she knows she has to play along, so she's like, okay, I'm just up here because I was gonna do something, but I'm coming down. And she goes down and all the kids are there, Paige is there, and they're asking her what she's going to do with her life. And she she brings up Charlie, but they say like, I don't think she's gonna talk to you after breaking up 2 years ago. Like,
very like info dumping of him.
I know.
Just so you know, you guys broke up because you cheated on her. How dare you?
But it's okay. I forgive you, sis.
I love you.
Amen.
After I took you in 2 years ago.
So then,
but also the children, I forgot which one, but one of them was like, Auntie Emma, what happened to your tattoo? Because I guess she had a tattoo on her finger, allegedly, but she was like, I've never had a tattoo on my finger.
I don't understand that part.
Well, we can speculate after.
Okay. Okay, then I'm just going to skip towards the end. So then she kind of does the same thing that Allison had done and tries to kill Thomas, but fails because the police come and stop her.
Paige. Don't you remember that Paige was like attacking her and then she stabbed her?
Oh, you're right.
And Paige died. And then she was going to, I think she wanted to attack Thomas.
Yes.
But like you said, the police came. And
then she thought she had succeeded, but the police say like Thomas
is still good. He's still kicking.
Yeah, and he also told us that he forgives you. He's actually a great guy. He really donated sweet. To this police office. Now we have a coffee pot.
All of the blood that he lost, he actually donated.
He got one of those sham wows.
Oh my
sucked God. Up all the blood. And you know what? Gave it to orphans. Just so nice of him.
You know, his sister was... Oh, wait, just kidding. Wrong story.
Oh, shit. I mean, you.
Weren't you an orphan?
But, you know, he's just such a great guy. And so...
Saved my puppy, too.
The entirety of the story... Oh, yeah. And then the family dog, they have a Shiloh. It's like, you bitch, that's my dog.
Oh, yeah. So Shiloh growls at her and is super sweet to the other family. That's crazy.
But the rest of this story is
her in
Eve prison, trying to convince everyone in this world that her name is Eve. But it's like, Eve doesn't exist. You're Emma.
Emma Faust, yeah.
And it really sucks because she loses hope at one point. And she calls Charlotte and is like, Charlie, you need to remember me. You need to remember who I am. Like, why did we even break up? And Charlotte says, well, you walked out on me with no word 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so she hangs up. And at the very end, Thomas comes in and is like, my sweet sissy.
My sweet sis.
I know you're really going through it, but I'm such a great guy. I did bring you a little gift. And it's in this world, it didn't exist. So he knows.
Yeah. But this whole time he's addressing her as Emma.
There is one part that he addresses her as Eve, though. Do you remember that? In the middle of the big fight?
During this conversation?
No, it was right before this when they were fighting.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I remember that. And I was like, oh.
Oh, a little slip of the...
wait, hold on. I do remember that, but I was talking about this part.
Yeah, this scene, he's only addressing her as Emma, and then he's like, Emma, I brought you something that I know means a lot to you and Charlotte, but it means a lot to her and Charlie. And when she opens it, it's the locket, and she opens to see the picture, and the last word of this book is, this is the only photo taken of Eve Palmer.
The last remaining photo. Down. The end.
Credits roll and Heather by Conan Gray starts playing.
And then also Blake Lively is going to star in this movie.
Wow. And then all of her wardrobe. Every single person's going to have her wardrobe.
Yeah. The boots will be back.
I really like how we kept making Heather jokes. She came up once in this story.
No, she came up again at the end. Don't you remember when they said we asked your neighbors and Heather was like, oh, Emma?
Emma? Are you talking about Emma?
Emma, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't live alone. I live with 40 people. This is like completely different. Okay. Thoughts. Oh, and that Morse code, if you were following it along throughout the whole story, it spells out the old man with the scar who lived in the cabin went by different names.
Has lived for a century.
Who has lived for centuries went by different names. Mm-hmm. So does that mean that old man was Thomas? That's why the scar looked familiar?
Yeah, that was Thomas.
So he didn't glow up.
No, he glowed down.
He glowed down. Okay. And I'm guessing that tattoo on her finger was kind of what Alina had been doing on the walls with the circles. Because there was also a little excerpt in the story, the in-betweens, where it talked about how when you try to remove a tattoo, it never really goes away.
Yeah. It just kind of like stays there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This story was a mind fuck, honestly.
Yeah, dude.
I think, here's my guess of what the thought was in this book. Okay, I could be totally wrong. But I think, like, sitting in this room, for example, like
Why?
well, this is probably not a great example because I don't know, it's like a newer place. How many different ways has this place looked?
Oh, well, you can, where I grew up, that home had been there since like the 40s.
Oh, shit. Mm-hmm.
So my home, I know, has been through several things.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the blueprints of that house have always looked very different. And I don't know if I ever told you, but when we had first moved in, my mom, she always considered herself a very spiritual person. But she said that as we lived there, she felt like the heaviness slowly leave as we made that place our home.
Really?
Yeah.
So all you really need is children.
All you need is children to scare them fucks away. And then I would play hide and seek and hide for days.
until I was starving.
No, but
That's
adding to that, you never really know
the phases that your place has gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of like what I think the thought process was, but then also tying in parallel universes. Because I think that Emma does exist,
Yeah.
but that's not our main character. That's my guess.
But
I don't know.
I also kind of feel like only one Thomas exists.
Yeah, only one Thomas.
And he
Thomas
kind of just
fucks
picks
everything up.
where he wants to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's weird.
That's kind of why I kind of wish that she would have actually created a small relationship with Paige just to see if she's noticed anything. Has there been other Pages around?
Because it would have been interesting if Paige was also part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, Paige could have been someone that he picked up from one universe and was like, you're coming with me forever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to know if Paige was,
Mm-hmm.
she was a girly.
I wonder why he decided to make Eve the sister. Imagine she was like the wife. Like,
That would have been crazy.
if she was like, Mommy, you gave birth to me. But just remember,
All three of you?
it's like they look the same, but just a little bit different.
Oh, that would be crazy.
I don't know.
I thought he was going to have a weird obsession with her too.
Yeah.
Just be like, that's my wife. My wife.
That's my girl right there. So, yeah, the whole time rift, at first I thought was because of the house, but it was Thomas that was causing the time rift.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, fucking crazy.
That's why you don't move to old houses.
It's a Victorian style house, yeah.
Hell no.
I feel so bad for Eve. I feel like this is so scary, like to have people not know who you are. Because also in one of the excerpts, I think it was one of the ones in the beginning, there was a kid who was dared to break into the house, right? And I think him and his friend, because I remember he wasn't alone.
Him and his friend broke in.
And they went to the basement.
And his friend was staring at something and he was too scared to stare at it.
Mm-hmm.
Because based on his friend's face, he knew whatever his friend was staring at was the scariest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
He left his friend behind. And they really wanted to help this friend because he wasn't responding. Like, he was awake, but he wasn't responding.
Mm-hmm.
And when this guy's like, these are all the people I went with and this is my friend's name, they were like, no one exists by those names.
Yeah.
And the only person that was doing research about, I forget what they called it. It was like paranormal paralysis, where you're like in sleep paralysis, but like with ghosts or like with like other beings that are supernatural.
Yeah.
The only person who had really been doing research to try to figure out why all this shit was happening, his name was Dr. Erickson. And if you read the excerpts, one of the excerpts that's written in, I think, Norwegian, says that Dr. Erickson doesn't exist.
Dr. Erickson? What the fuck happened to
Fuck
him?
is he?
Yeah, one of the excerpts, I really like the excerpts. My guess was the excerpts was her research, but I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the excerpts that I really liked was the one that was explaining, I don't remember the word, but the word in the definition was that it's when your brain tries to automatically make sense of like a fucking clusterfuck. Like you try to find patterns and everything. And so for example, like that's why some people would notice like a figure in just like You know what I mean? Like, that's why you notice like shapes on clouds, or if you see like, just,
I like that one too.
Just like I don't know, like if you see your coat rack, you would probably think there's a person there because it's your fucking coat. So it's kind of just describing that phenomenon, which I thought was really interesting.
Yes. See, I was following the thing. I got super stuck with the Morse code. I was so fucking scared.
With the
I
Morse?
was so fucking scared
With the Morse code?
No, just I hate it when humans start to do things that are outside of human behavior. So if you're just staring at a blank wall and it's dark, I'm leaving. I don't care if I've known you my whole life.
I wonder,
I'm out of there.
Who was the girl she was saying?
I feel like it was Allison.
You think so?
Who's stuck here. But now because she's no longer pertains to whatever story Thomas wants, she just haunts this area. But I feel like, because wasn't there a point where she was like, does Allison kind of want this too? Didn't she believe that?
Why? I don't remember why.
I forget. I think it was because it looked like Allison was protecting Thomas.
I think maybe she just, if that were the case, she probably just accepted this version of her life then.
That sucks.
And was just like, yeah, that's my brother.
That's my brother. That's him. Wish I was Heather, but...
Wish I was Heather wearing the sweater. But whatever.
1st of December.
Or
Thank you. So I think it is September.
I think it is September. You're right. It is September.
It's because
now
I sound like a fool.
It's because when we paused,
we were trying to figure out the lyrics of Heather
without actually looking it up. But yeah, how do you? Okay, you were scared. What else?
I was scared. I had trouble falling asleep. I put on rain sounds last night, but it made it scarier
because I remembered the storm.
Yeah. I feel like this story was very well executed for a debut book. I really liked, because I suck at guessing, but I really sucked at guessing with this one.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't know what was going to go on. I was really sad that this book did not have a happy ending. I wanted a win. I wanted a win.
Me too. I really wanted a win for Charlie and Eve, but I had a feeling they weren't going to win.
That really sucked.
I just assumed that the family, my guess going into this book was that the family was just gonna stay in this house forever. Like they were just gonna find a way to stay.
Do you remember when I think Eve was at the gas station and the guy at the counter was like, do you want, I forget what he says. Do you want assistance? He says something with an R. But she hears, you want religion? That shit scared me too.
I feel like this is one of those stories where I need to read it again.
I would read this again.
Like you mentioned the Jenny calling her Emma in the beginning. I don't remember that.
Yeah, dude.
I kind of wish I...
And Thomas is the one that's like, it's not Emma, it's Eve.
And then wasn't there a point when Thomas told Eve, oh, Eve's not supposed to be here yet? Something like that. I could have sworn there was a moment like that where I was like, what the fuck?
You don't tell me where I am.
This is my begging house, Thomas, okay?
Hell no, dude. Hell no. This story would have been different. If I was in it, it would have ended on page 1.
Get
Can
the
we come
fuck.
in? No, thank you. I put on Netflix. That's the end of the night. Does that mean there are universes where people said no?
Probably not.
I know. Everyone's just so nice.
Oh, unless Thomas just fucking breaks in.
Hell no, dude. The first time that Jenny calls her Emma is when they're talking about the dumbwaiter. So it's on page 80 and they're talking about how, yeah, there's the little box where you put things in and then you can send it down to the basement. And while they're talking about this, Thomas is like, oh, that's interesting. And Jenny is writing this down in her notebook and says, oh, okay, thanks, Emma. Thomas quirks his eyebrow. Her name is Eve, no? And Eve nods. Yeah, but it's okay. And she says, if this family just called me Emma, I would have gone by it for the duration of the tour. But yeah.
That's very creepy.
Hell no. If that little kid knew, Jenny's the one I trust the least. Okay.
She was the one who wanted to play hide and seek.
Why is she taking so many notes? What she got to know?
I know. She's writing the book.
I know. I love stories like this that are very trippy with Holmes. It kind of reminds me of House of Leaves.
Did you finish that
I got halfway. But I was also reading that when I was camping, and I was camping outside in the wilderness.
one?
And
Well, that's kind of perfect.
I was really scared.
Isn't that perfect though?
It was scary. I got halfway though. That book's long.
No, I know.
Yeah, but it reminded me a lot of that book.
Did you see any similarities to Get Out and Parasite? Because it's, I think on the blurb, it's compared to those two movies.
I can see I never saw Parasite. I can see
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. The Korean one?
You weren't there? You were there.
Can you imagine, right?
You were there.
You thought about me? No, I never watched it. I probably wasn't living here when you went to go see it.
Who the fuck did I go see it with? I could have sworn I saw it with you.
No.
Okay. The peach part?
You
know the peach part. Okay, not you then. Whatever. You're always right here in my heart.
Thank you. I can see similarities with Get Out. I mean, they didn't get out.
They didn't get out. That sucks. Well,
overall,
oh my god, dude!
I don't know what I want to give this.
This book fucked me up. Honestly, it really did, because I always really, and it's really weird because I want to say that I love when horror has that element of not explaining everything.
Yeah.
Not giving me a direct answer, but executed well, which is, I don't know. To me, this one was executed really well. Like, yeah. I don't know what the hell happened, but I know what happened. And I get it.
And like, to be honest, like TBH, I kind of want to give it a 5. And I kind of want to give it a 5.
Okay.
But it's also our first book in our horror.
I think it's really good. I would give it a 5.
Would you?
I would. I feel like this one was a big.
It was a good way to start.
Yeah. I was going to say a bang. Whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? You know the saying. Yeah. I thought it was a really good start to our horror adventures.
So you're saying 5?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. In solidarity, I will also say 5. I was just stuck between like, do I want to do that for the first book?
It's so good.
It was really good. I was scared.
I couldn't put it down, honestly.
On my scared meter, by the end, I want to say I was like at a 4. I never reached a 5. No, I did reach a 5 in my dreams. But
dude, same. In my fucking dreams, it was a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
In my scarometer. But I would say probably the same. I did get really creeped out, honestly. So I'd probably say 4 as well on the scarometer. If
we read a book, and I'm saying this now, that has humans doing non-human things. If I see a bitch running towards me on all 4s, I'm out. I'm out.
Now I gotta look
done.
for that.
Long limbs? Hell no.
Comment down below.
What are you most scared of?
I feel kind of nervous about the film, though.
What film? What film?
I literally said it. Blake Lively's gonna star in this movie.
Wait, I thought you were kidding.
No, I'm being serious.
Why is Blake in everything? Really? Wait, who's she playing? Jenny?
She's the fucking ghost with the fucking hospital gown.
I fucking knew it. Is she actually?
That's what I've heard through the grapevine.
What the fuck is wrong with the grapevine?
I swear that's what I heard.
Blake. Are you sure?
Let me double check. Not because you're making me doubt it. Now my reality is shifting.
Okay, here's my thoughts. If Blake played Eve, how quirky is she gonna be?
She's gonna be giggling the whole time.
Is she gonna be like, it's gonna be Eve played by Blake and Charlie played by Blake with black hair walking up to the house? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, there's an article saying that there's gonna
be a moment
she's gonna star in the film
when they're about to go into the house for the first time and Charlie's like, you want to do the honors? I gotta take it in from here. You can fucking it ends with us. I gotta take it in from here. And she opens the door and they're like, goes in. And then that's where shit starts. I'm so excited for this rom-com.
Shut the fuck up. Me too. I really can't wait to just grab my girls, wear my hospital gown. What the fuck is
my
that?
hospital gown?
What's the
Gucci
theme?
Bag?
What's the theme here?
Floral.
It's definitely not floral in this one. Wear my snow boots. Snow boots.
Dude, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Wear my snow boots. Let's go.
Oh.
Get in, loser.
Everyone's hair in this, no matter what state they are in, it's going to look luscious.
It's going to be poofy.
How's your...
Luckily for you, that's just my hair naturally.
Wow, Blake.
You thought I was joking?
I thought you were joking.
I know. You didn't really react. So I was like, I have to bring this up again because she did not believe me.
Oh, Blake, you need to like maybe pump the brakes.
Can Ryan Reynolds be Thomas?
Isn't that kind of weird?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. Let's fan cast. Blake, like I said, even Charlie have to be Blake Lively and Blake Lively with black hair.
No,
I just think
it should be.
Hello.
Oh my god, I'm so bad with names.
Blake Ellen DeGeneres.
No, Blake Colleen Hoover.
Whoa! Imagine.
I'm thinking of the girl who played Blair, Leighton Meester. I'm so bad with names. Leighton Meester.
Who's Blair?
Gossip Girl. You know watch Gossip Girl.
Did you?
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, a long time ago. I don't know who her girlfriend could be.
Damn. Comment down below.
Comment down below who you would cast as Charlie.
Thomas would be Ryan Reynolds. You're right.
It has to be.
Or Ryan Reynolds is just going to be like the fucking gas station attendant, just so he can be in it.
It's going to be the cop.
The rom-com of the century. That's crazy.
I can't wait. It's going to be so good. But it's going to be on Netflix.
That's even crazier. When's it come out?
But, I don't know. I was going to say it ends with this did so well. So I don't know. In theaters, I mean. So I don't know if they would. So if they would just do it straight to
I hope
Netflix.
Coco's in this.
She's definitely not. I hope Marcus is in this. He's the author.
Yeah, during that party scene, Marcus is just fucking feeling it.
It doesn't say when.
You know, no matter the drama that circulated with It Ends With Us, and if I was an author and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were like, can we make a movie out of your book? I'd be like, say fucking less.
No, just fucking
take it.
Take it. Blow it up. Wear your florals, queen. I don't even care.
I'm sorry, but money is money.
Do you think, oh my God, I'm sorry, I have to ask. Do you think this whole thing was a publicity stunt or a marketing thing?
Probably.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Because the rich
it's working.
get richer, dude.
It's working.
Yeah, it is. Because I even told you when all that shit was going on, I was like, damn, now I feel like I have to watch a movie I need to watch the movie a second time.
I'm telling you, it's working.
Yeah, it's working. So I don't feel sorry for any of these rich people. If they're still making more money than me, what the fuck?
Like, cut me a check. I'm still trying to find if it has a date, but it doesn't have a date on it.
Well,
which is crazy because this book just came out.
Yeah, it did.
But it did really well on the No Sleep Reddit.
Wow.
Community. I have no idea.
Blake.
I've never been on there, so I don't know.
Well, I'm excited for the florals. I'm excited for the fits. I'm excited for the alcohol-based drinks that'll come out because of this.
It's going to be called...
Wait. I got one. Tom and Coke.
Tom and Coke.
It's a Jack and Coke, but it's Thomas.
It's going to be called Too Faust, Too Fear.
Oh, that's a good one. There's one with a lot of fruits, and it's called the Garden of Eve.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good one. Write it down. Actually, TM, don't take it, Blake Lively. We could sue.
With what fucking money?
I know.
JK.
Harry, how much is in your pocket? It's like, fuck. I think I have trash in my pocket.
We won't sue you if you literally just give us $100 each. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm even fine with $1. $1 from Blake Lively? I'd fucking frame that shit. I wouldn't. I need it. So I can't fucking do that shit. Sorry, Blake.
Okay, we're doing fine. We're so sorry we're derailing. Yes, 5 out of 5 book. Really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what else Marcus writes. This was an amazing debut, honestly.
It really was. That being said, if you are listening to us in audio form, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere you get your podcasts, thank you so much. And if you can leave a rating of 5 stars, because that really, really helps us. And also a review, maybe recommending another scary book, because it is now scary season. I've been dreading this.
All year.
But please recommend us our next reads. I would love that. if you want to support us and you have a little bit of money, what can they do?
We do have a Patreon, and it really just serves as a way for our listeners to let us know that they really enjoy our content. I mean, we do post twice a week. We're going to throw in a little bonus here and there if we can. You can find us on patreon.com/bookfix. But if you don't want the commitment of monthly, you can find us on Ko-fi, which is ko-fi.com/thebookfix, or buymeacoffee.com/thebookfix.
If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. If you can like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because we post every Tuesday and Thursday. If you want to support us on social media, we do have a TikTok at The Book Fix, THEBOOKFIX, and a Goodreads, Instagram, and Threads at The Book Fix Pod, THEBOOKFIXPOD. Thank you. So we are going to go ahead and read a positive and negative review about this book. I can read the positive.
Okay. And we are not associated with these reviews. I just think it's kind of fun just to see what other people think.
This is written by Hannah, who gave it a 5 out of 5. Oh, this scared the absolute shit out of me. What the fuck? I'm really regretting that edible I took about 100 pages ago.
That's funny. All right. This review comes from Marley. They gave it 1 out of 5, and they wrote, "This book made me so angry. It's one thing for a book to be ambiguous. It's quite another to basically explain nothing. Aside from plot holes, things that are never brought up again, and too many unanswered questions, it's a letdown because it had the potential to be a better book. I'm so annoyed I wasted time. I feel like it ended halfway through. Ugh." Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I'm already scared.
Isn't it crazy that we're barely starting our spooky season and we're already spooked? We started with a strong one, honestly.
We did. It's okay. I won't be scared anymore. I swear the next one I'll be just fine.
And the next one, I think you'll be chill.
All jokes, all laughs.
It's a rom-com.